Respected elder sisters and brothers, and particularly younger sisters and brothers, I always stress we are same human being. As a matter of fact, 7 billion human beings, same human being, mentally, emotionally, physically, we are same. Then most important, we all have desire to achieve happy life. We all have same right to achieve that goal. And methods are different. Some believe in religion, and within religion, different religious tradition. Some are non-believer. So these are sort of different method, but goal is same: happy human life. So I believe we need sense of oneness of entire humanity. Then that not only is some realistic approach, as I mentioned earlier, 7 billion human beings, same, all member of one human family. Then according to Christianity, we all son of God. So we all, almost same father, one father. So different tradition use different philosophy. Most of theistic religion concept of God, creator. So that view very powerful. Teach us we all children of same father. Wonderful. And then non-theistic religion. So also emphasis, we all same human being. Sometimes even if you say entire sentient being, all have desire to achieve happy life. All have right. So that kind of thinking, not only something moral or because of the principle, but also, very helpful. Today's world, we really need that kind of attitude. We all same. Look, I think this very moment, we enjoy peace, tranquility, and joyful. Same moment, some different part of the world killing each other. Unthinkable. Same human being. It's out of sense of we and they, and anger, killing. Some animal killed some human being. Yeah, sometimes we feel, sad, sorry. But then human being killed by human being, that only not 1 or 2 individual, but organized killing, thousands. In ancient time, people, consider someone who killed thousands human brothers, sisters, consider a hero. I think this kind of thinking is outdated. If we keep that kind of attitude, the problem remain. I think it is our common responsibility Now, this 21st century should not be same like 20th century. 20th century, a lot of violence. Some historians say more than 200 millions of human beings killed through violence. Tremendous suffering. So that kind of sort of habit, also some kind of impact in our mind. At the beginning of this 21st century, still, you see carrying use force, killing. Although there is real hope, firstly, judging event in 20th century. The later part of 20th century's people's thinking and early part of 20th century must change. I always is mentioning the spirit of European Union until as a day because of the midway, mid I think 50s. These European Union's member states fighting each other, killing each other, particularly like French and German. Then eventually people in that continent, I think they felt through violence too much suffering. And that violence in the name of nationalism and strong sort of concept, we and they. So therefore, they create the European Union. I think that's, I'm one of the admirer of spirit of the European Union. I think this India also, in the past, a lot of rajas, small kingdoms. Then eventually, if that still remain, maybe there are more violence. Then eventually, union, India developed. So sometimes South Indians say their culture, their language is more richer than Hindi. It doesn't matter. Small things. Some Tamil Nadu people say, their sort of the language is more sort of, because of the more sophisticated like that. So it doesn't matter. And then Punjabi, they say, Punjabi, they are hardworking, economically they are more well. So this doesn't matter. I think all part of India, you see, the feeling of Indian, Hindustan. Very good. So therefore, I think culturally, East India, or culturally, linguistically, East India, South India, West India, North India, there are differences. But we all live together, a union of India. So these are, I think, the sign of our sort of mind becoming more mature. I often is telling, which really hope, the spirit of European Union eventually should expand in Africa continent, that big continent, great potential. But it's a small state, infighting, and spend a lot of money for military forces. Waste of money, waste of energy. Develop the Union of Africa, and similarly, Union of South America. and eventually Asia, some union. One of my dreams is eventually China, India, Japan, and the rest of the Asian countries create some kind of union. Maybe unrealistic. But I feel that in reason, finally, whole world, whole humanity, I think should unite and some kind of united sort of world. Otherwise, the present sort of situation or condition remain continuously. Then I think the man-made problem, if not increase, but still remain. So this actually against the basic human nature, human desire. Now, some scientists say basic human nature is more compassionate. Obviously, we can see children, young age, they don't care what other sort of family background or nationality or religious faith. Simply smile there, we play together. So they are real, I think, humanism way. I think very fresh. Then also, I think also when we, at the time are dying, I think one human being's face, smiling face, showing affection. I think that moment, the dying person don't much bother what their religion or their nationality or these things. So long showing human affection, they very much appreciate. I think that kind of spirit in hospital, there. When patients come, the hospital never asks, what is your religion? What is your nationality? What's your family background? No. So long, someone sick, and then just consider patient. So we have that kind of spirit already there. Now we should expand that kind of sort of, what's it, spirit or outlook way. Now how to spread? Mainly education, awareness, or reality, as we are saying. Now today's situation, including climate, global warming, and also some scarcity of natural resources are increasing, and our population also increasing. So now time comes. We have to live as a human brothers, sisters. Do not too much sort of emphasis secondary level of differences. We are facing common sort of problems, global warming, these things. Or last night, I was told some earthquake. So this morning, some of my friends told me some earthquake. I in deep sleep. So I didn't know. Do you feel earthquake? Oh, good. That's my companion. So I think because of global warming, I think such as earthquake and also because of climate change, sometimes the heating, because of heat increasing, some area you see the more sort of snow like that. Now, because of the Arctic, Antarctic, no, Arcticle, what do you call it? Arctic Circle. Arctic Circle. The amount of melting ice, see, quite sort of unexpectedly now increasing. So I think a nature disaster may increase. So now much better. We human brothers, sisters, share each other's problem and work our common goal, the happier world. So emphasis on each different sort of community. I think that old thinking, now modern thinking, now like technology. You see, there some kind of, I think, internationalism, you see, bring by technology. So similarly, through education, we need promotion of sense of oneness of humanity. So like this because of this college, I think you mentioned about 200. Wonderful. We can imagine how many people produce from this institution. I think some mischievous people also, I think, produce, possibly. But the majority, I think, some kind of sensible, educated sense of responsibility, I think you produce. So wonderful. So now, education center is the key factor to create a new way of thinking, more realistic. So my number one commitment is promotion of sense of oneness of 7 billion human beings. The second, my commitment, my responsibility is religious harmony. I am Buddhist monk. Now, as an old person, I have a lot of genuine good friends among Christian, among Muslim, among Jews, among Hindus, so on. So therefore, you see, through personal contact, I developed a firm sort of belief all major religious traditions have same potential to produce good human beings, sensible human beings, ultimately compassionate human beings. All teaching, all tradition carry same message of love, forgiveness, tolerance, and sense of brotherhood, sisterhood, and self-discipline and contentment. I have opportunity to visit some nunneries and some monastery in Europe. So their way of life, very simplicity, karma, simple. So this is practice of contentment. Wonderful. Wonderful. So therefore, all major religious traditions, in spite of different philosophical views, in the philosophical field, there's big differences. Particularly like me, Buddhist, and Jains, no concept of creator, God. So we are nihilist. Nihilist, by the way. Nihilist. Yeah. Within Buddhism, Buddhist different school of thought, you see now, according to Nalanda tradition, Vibhashek, Sodantik, Chitta Mantra, Madhyamika. So Chitta Mantra and Sodantik, these school of thought consider Madhyamika philosophy is nihilism. So this is okay. So you consider me nihilist, okay. Even if you see some Buddhist, also you see consider my sort of favorite sort of philosophy is a Madhyamika philosophy. So I'm a student or practitioner, because of the practitioner of Madhyamika philosophy. So even within Buddhist, you say I'm nihilist, like that. So it doesn't matter. So philosophical fields, there's differences. But then we must ask, what is the purpose of these different philosophies? Then say, to strengthening the conviction about value of compassion, forgiveness, tolerance, these things. So like medicine, in order to cure illness, different medicine. So long, all these medicine, you see, cure human illness. So there's no reason to quarrel. This medicine is different from that medicine. You can't say. And also, you see, medicine, you can't say, you see, pick up one medicine, this is best medicine. You can't say. According patient and age and general physical condition for this patient, this medicine is best. So similarly, among different religious sort of philosophy or religion, you can't say one religion is the best. You can't say. According practitioner, for this people, for this sort of community, this religion more fit, more effective. Therefore, for them, certain religion is most suitable, so best. Generally, we can't say, I am Buddhist. I never say Buddhism is best. I always say, there's an emphasis, we must respect all major religious tradition. There is sufficient reason, respect. Now Christianity, for example, like Mother Teresa, I think wonderful, dedicated people. And Mother sort of follower, on one occasion I visited in Calcutta, the Mother Teresa sort of place. Oh. So, one occasion I was in Calcutta, so then I went there. So then I told, some, of course, some sisters used to gathered there. So I told them, I come here without your invitation, but because of my admiration. Mother Teresa and her sort of follower. Mother no longer there, but the follower they carry this late mother sort of spirit. Wonderful. So I am one of admirer. So therefore I went there without sort of a certain program or certain sort of invitation. I am one of the admirer. So therefore, you see, the religion, there's different philosophy, it is necessary in order to strengthen conviction about practice of love, compassion, forgiveness, these things. According to mental disposition, we need different way of approach, like different medicine. So now India, as an ancient nation, and now today over billion populated nation, generally religious harmony in this country really remarkable. So, I often is telling you, Indian should make some sort of effort for promotion of religious harmony. Here you already, not only political reason or new sort of independent sort of countries because of the program, but over 3,000 years, religious harmony there. This is your traditions. So therefore, now in this country, for example, Sunni and Shia, no problem. And some Muslim country, Shia, Sunni, the same Quran, same practice, 5-time prayer, but little sort of different name or different practice, little differences. So, killing. Then when we saw these things, And I really appreciate India's 1,000-year-old tradition, religious harmony. So, my number 2 commitment is promotion of religious harmony. And then third, my responsibility about Tibet. I'm Tibetan. So Dalai Lama institution, I think last few centuries, I think six, 7 centuries, I think 6 centuries, it's become something important sort of institution. So as you mentioned, when some Tibetan delegation come to my small village, you see, we don't know what is happening. Then eventually they recognize me as a reincarnation. I'm just simple villagers, the boy. And then I usually is telling people, one I think good thing is my mother, the farmer villagers on one mother, very, very kind mother. She so sort of was kind, compassionate to all people, neighbors, and of course, no question, her own sort of children. Then me, at that time, so I was the youngest. So as a villager, you see, we have no, because of the toys, nothing. And also no, what we call ayah. So my mother, when she work in field or look after sort of animals, she always carry me on her shoulder. And then gradually, I really feel very comfortable on mother's shoulder. Then that is a child, their son, become more bolder. So I hold my mother's 2 ears. And I want to go this side. I control my mother's movement and this side. If my mother should not listen, so my sort of instruction or something, so then I shout. And you see, 2 legs you see here, so bang, 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 like that. So such, I think quite, because of the naughty story, quite naughty, I think, village child, son. Eventually, I reach Central Tibet and education. Our education, of course, learning Tibetan language and script. Actually, script copied from one of India's, what's it, in Devanagari, ancient Indian letter. And alphabet also is similar. Ka 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 nga, cha 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 nya, ta 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 na, pa 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 ma, like that. So linguistically, very close with this, with this country, like that. So I learn language, script, writing. Then meantime, monastic sort of education, mainly ancient Indian philosopher, Indian logician, such as Nagarjuna, Dharmakirti, Dignath, and so on. We memorize these root texts. So when I was young, my great burden, learning by heart these sort of root texts. I still remember the one page, quite a big page, I remember one letter, cha. So that sort of was the verses. I don't know. I found it very difficult to memorize that particular sort of sentence. Then I lost my temper. This is the letter cha. That sentence, I done. Then later, you see, when I read, you see, that, or say the text, I noticed, you see, when I was very young, I quite silly, isn't it? Quite silly. So that's the way educate. Then, according some Indian sort of master's commentary, and word by word explain by a teacher. Then use extensively logic, according Dignac or Dharmakirti. So they are writing about logic. Wonderful. And once, you see, these tradition reached Tibet, and among Tibetan themselves also, you see, Kasota much propagate the logical approach, like that. So therefore, I train that way. So now I realize my mind, in spite old age, now 80, nearly now 82 years, my mind quite sharp, because of training, use extensively logic. And then also, since you see, utilize logic, so we always investigate. We do not accept easily. Why? It's that question. Why? How? Why? How? So therefore, eventually, I also found quite similar approach to scientific research. So last 30 years, I have serious discussion with scientists. So with a little bit sort of skepticism. Why? How? Not easily accept. Then research, experiment. So, not only myself, my translator also, you see, ex-monk, right? Ex-monk. So, study, he also, you see, carry same way. So now today, mainly in South India, Karnataka state, major ancient Buddhist, ancient Tibetan, monastic institution re-established. So monk student and also non-student, almost 10,000. They carry similar way study, like that. So in any way, I brought that way, and then come to 56, come to India, Buddha Gender Liberation. Then I become very close friendship with late Jawaharlal Nehru and Rajendra Prasad and Rajaji, Raja Gopalachari, and also the Kasajudi, Kasa, Vice President, Kasa, or Radhakrishna. So then after 59, at 59, the situation became out of control. Then I tried to escape. I escaped, then finally reached India. Then come to India, take us one way as a refugee. That's the reality. One way, take as a guest. And our 1,000-year-old very unique relations, and also personal close relations. So then we settle in this country very happily. Now, as a Dalai Lama, my main task, they look up to those Tibetans, and plus try to preserve our language, our knowledge. At that time, our knowledge simply, you see, because of the part of preservation of our own because of the culture like that. Now, eventually I found, all these knowledge come from India. So actually, you are the owner of this knowledge. The differences are now the good. I usually call Indian, traditionally, historically, our guru. We are Chela. Sometimes you also see mentioning we are not only Chela, but also quite trusted, reliable Chela. Over 1,000 years. Guru's own land, a lot of ups and downs. Now, like the Nalanda, famous Nalanda institution, now just ruined. Nothing there. So all this knowledge we kept since the 8th century. Chandarakshita from Nalanda, invited by Tibetan emperor. Since then, we kept all this knowledge till now. It is quite quite embarrassing to say now ancient Chela of Indian guru now become guru, Indian become Chela. So it is quite encouraging now. More and more Indian showing interest about ancient yoga knowledge. As I mentioned earlier, knowledge, the logic is useful. And knowledge about the mind or emotion, I usually call science of mind, very rich. And then certain philosophy, which is very similar, that of quantum physics. So these should consider academic subject, not a religious subject. So now, last few years, you see, we are trying to also to share our traditional, our guru knowledge, which we kept over 1,000 years. So now more and more Indian now showing interest. So, besides preservation of our own because of the cultural heritage, also is share with more people, and including many scientists from America, from Europe, about the science of mind. Many scientists really showing interest like that. So then, 2011, all political responsibility, I totally, relinquished and completely retired from political responsibility. Since 2001, you see, we already achieved elected political leadership. And 2011, I totally retired. And all responsibility now carried by political leadership. So my only serving or helping preservation of our this knowledge, and then also you see preservation of delicate Tibetan environment. And of course, our language. These things I try my best for preservation and also further develop like that. So not only 2011, not only myself retired, but also about, I think, at least 4 centuries tradition, Dalai Lama institution automatically become head of both temporal and spirituality, now that formally ended. Voluntarily, happily, proudly ended. So sometimes I jokingly telling, that this sort of practice during 5th Dalai Lama, you see, establish this sort of dual responsibility. So if 5th Dalai Lama reappear, what he says, but there's no danger, so I can decide. So like that. So now some question and answer. Thank you. I really appreciate, I really enjoy the students' face. Firstly, very attentive, very attentive, and a smile. When I reach here, some student smiling, one student not smiling, then I kasatus, a tickle, then a smile come.
We had invited written questions, and there are some which had been sent by email and some have come just now. So maybe some of the questions His Holiness has already answered, but I'll read a few of them. The first one, I'm not able to contain the negative thoughts and actions. What do I do? What is the way to attain eternal happiness? How do I create acceptance?
No, naturally. You see, these emotions, you see, some emotion, very good, such as infinite love, a kind of emotion. And then anger, hatred, fear, all these in the category of emotion. So some emotion, very good, some emotion, harmful. So this emotion is part of our mind, part of our emotion. So spontaneously come. So not easy is to tackle. You need a lot of sort of the effort that we used to call training of our mind. Sometimes I describe that we also used to learn hygiene of physical. So now similarly we need hygiene of emotion. So firstly, knowing all these different emotions, and also you see the nature of the contradiction, like anger and compassion cannot go together. So through training, through awareness, the strength of compassion increase, then automatically anger reduces. So therefore, you see, this is not easy. Firstly, awareness, and then familiarize these things with conviction, then gradually affect our mind, our emotion. So there's possibility through training we change these things, not immediately. Okay.
Another question. How do we rise above debates surrounding what constitutes patriotism and nationalism to serve the larger humanity? How do we convince people of demilitarization when the very idea of military force is romanticized?
Use our intelligence fully. All this negative action and even negative sort of, or say the policy, ultimately due to short-sighted. In ancient time, nationalism concerned only your own community, your own country. It's okay. Now, modern world, even in the field of global economy, there's no national boundary, and also the global warming. All these issues, national boundary, no relevant. So we have to think about humanity. So once all those violence, war, these based on secondary level of differences, my nation and my group. So if you look from wider perspective, we are same. Your neighbor also human being, part of our community. So then, the very concept of war, bully, or destroy, then eventually, as I mentioned earlier, you see, they got such a thing, the European Union. One might sort of, not only friend, but also I consider as a tutor or teacher about quantum physics. One German professor or scientist, von Weizsäcker, now no longer. He once told me, that was in 1990s, once he told me, when he was young German, as a young German, every French eye, German is their enemy, and similarly, German eye, French is their enemy. Now, 1990s, that period, that kind of attitude completely changed, he told me. So these are the sort of spirit, the European Union. Consider your neighbor, just your neighbor. So their prosperity is, you see, eventually is helping to yourself. Destruction of your neighbor is actually destruction of your own future, like that. So therefore, this awareness and also the actual circumstances now telling us we need the sense of common responsibility or global responsibility. So thinking and use our intelligence maximum way and look all these situations from a wider perspective, then you will get conviction, the sense of sort of human community on the basis of a sense of oneness of human being. That's better, or just your own sort of nation, your own group. Long run. Now, American president, new president, now emphasizing where? America, only America. I think America is a big nation, but still part of the world. Isn't it? So you see, the Western world needs East, Eastern world needs West. Similarly, Northern world, industrialized nation, need the Southern world. Southern world also need Northern world. That's the reality. So therefore, thinking more as the global, global community, then eventually, what say, Kasa, eventually also they could just demilitarize. These things automatically come. One of our hope is whole world eventually should achieve demilitarization. Then I think a lot of money saved. And then use, help these poor people. Now India's case also, the Himalayan range. When I was young, 1950, I came to Indian border. At that time, comparatively peaceful. Then gradually, at that time, I think through centuries, Tibet, like Baba state, between China and India. Then the situation gradually changed. Then the Indian side spent a lot of money. And many Jawans, because of the frozen sort of climate condition, freezing sort of condition, they have to remain like that. The other side also is the Chinese. From plain, many Chinese, it's difficult to remain in high altitude, Tibet, high altitude, like that. So therefore, eventually, as I mentioned earlier, eventually India and China, I think, should develop genuine trust and on the mutual trust, and try to create that part of the now part of People's Republic of China should demilitarize. That idea, a few decades ago, I expressed. So that's sort of difference for China as well as India. Like that. So therefore, I think through friendship, through trust, through mutual respect, then such things can achieve. But too much sort of emphasis, my nation, their nation, then difficulties. Yes, next question.
His Holiness, you talked about how you remain mentally fit because of your training in logic. The students want to know, how do you remain physically fit at this age? And how is it being like the Dalai Lama? And did you ever wish not to lead the life of a monk?
I think, firstly, for physical health, as you already touched, the deep sleep. I usually used to spend 9 hours each night sleep. Too much. About 6 evening, start sleep. Then next 3, wake up. Then some meditation, some prayer, which we do. Some prayer, some meditation. And in my case, meditation means analytical meditation. Analyze. So that also sharpening our mind, not just single-pointed sort of meditation. Shamatha. Shamatha, you see, if too much, sort of too long shamatha, sometimes harmful, reduce sharpness of our mind. So we call vipassana, analytical meditation, is very important. So in any way, sufficient sleep, then also, as a Buddhist monk, no dinner. So physical also quite fit. Some people, especially some lady, is overweight. I think should follow the monk's tradition, no dinner. So in any way, So then important is peace of mind. My whole life, you see in this sort of the atmosphere, sort of environment, a lot of problem. Age 16, I lost my freedom. Age 24, I lost my own country. A lot of problem. A lot of bad news. But during this period, I have the ability to keep peace of mind because of training. So therefore, now some scientists also say, healthy, in order to create healthy body, you also take care about mind. So healthy mind, very important for healthy body. So that's my experience. And not only myself, some Tibetan practitioner, 58, 59, arrest, and put because of the gulag, and then some killed, because of executed. So one great scholar, a practitioner, with Chinese police or soldier, you see, because of the brought to place where execution place. Then that practitioner, that monk, is asked police or Chinese soldier, please let me pray a few seconds. Then he wait. His sort of prayer is all sort of negative emotions of other taking me, absorb me, and all my sort of positive thing, share or offer that. One beautiful sort of sentence. You see, he prayer, so recite that sentence. Then he told, now shoot me. At the very moment, you see, killing, that kind of sort of compassionate sort of prayer, motivation, practice there. And then number of sort of Tibetan who spent many years in Chinese gulag, they told me the best period for practice is during their gulag life. They're also sometimes quite cunning, quite clever. They cannot sort of carry rosary. So one my sort of physician, he told me when he was in gulag, in prison cell, he firstly, you see, Chemna Motsadung sort of some small book. They always need study these things. So he carried that book, and firstly, you see, he the number letter, the number, he sort of said, already sort of know how many sort of words in one page. Then apparently he study Mao Zedong's book, but actually he uses these number of word for rosary. So for example, Om Mani Padme Hum, you see the letter Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, like that. He told me. So you see, they're quite clever, isn't it? They also have the ability to cheat those Chinese policemen. So, you see, many of them, you see, told me, during because of prison life, they found best period or meditation or practice. So like that, you see, if you have some sort of knowledge, training of mind, then the circumstances not much matter. There is saying,
taking the bad circumstances as blessings for one's good.
so like that. Then next.
The students asked, since childhood, we aspire to become a doctor, engineer, etc. But what is the actual purpose of human life, and how does one identify one's calling?
I think we need different profession, and particularly like the medical or doctors, nurses. You see, these are very essential. And also the very nature of these profession, this work, is really practical, serving to other people. So these actually, sometimes I call these sort of profession is actually the compassionate action. Provided you should not carry these work as a profession and for salary, not that way. Really, you see, respect the patient and serious concern of their sort of illness and serving. It's a great opportunity of practice of Dharma, or practice of compassion. So then another different sort of profession. I think so long the profession not making bomb, not making bullet. That's something a little different. Making weapon. Otherwise, you see, all civilian profession, engineering, or laws, everything, economy. I think including politics. I think politics itself, nothing wrong. It's one instrument solving problem or further progress. So politics become dirty politics because some politicians a little bit dirty here. Lack of moral principle. So that you see politics also become dirty politics. And so even you see religion also can be dirty religion. You see some of these, you see, people in the name of religion killing each other. That also you see become a dirty religion, isn't it? So everything you see depends on our motivation, sincere motivation. In order to develop sincere motivation, awareness. All this destructive action, destructive emotion, very short-sighted, narrow-minded. So ultimately, self-ruin, self-destruction, such as anger and hitting others. So you create more enemy, and you yourself also in deep inside unhappy. Other hand, compassion is a make friend. The others also is to feel happy, and you yourself also then get one new friend and feel very happy. And we are social animal. Friendship is very essential. Some practitioners remain lonely and spend. I have one occasion. I met one Catholic monk in Barcelona. So he spent 5 years in the mountain. Very little hot meal, tea and bread. 5 years, hermit life. So when I was in Barcelona, Montserrat, you see, he came to see me, and the organizer told me his story. And when actually I met one Catholic monk, little beard, and not very big. Then I asked him, I was told you spent 5 years in the mountain and a hermit life. What kind of practice? I asked him. He answered, meditate on love. When he answered that, in his eye, something very special significance. So like that, the solitude and practice is also, you see, very nice. But then many people cannot do that. And you should carry with certain profession to serve humanity, to serve your community. And we need friendship. Friendship entirely based on trust. Trust comes from if you show them affection, then trust comes. Like that. Yes?
The next question is, what, according to you, is the cause and solution to terrorism?
I feel the present so-called terrorism is because previous century, I think we believe the effective method to solve problem, use force. If the previous century, particularly later part of 20th century, if we promote the method dialogue, reconciliatory, perhaps I think after Second World War, I think we special emphasis promotion of dialogue, spirit of dialogue. I think today's these, I think certainly will be less. And as a matter of fact, September 11th event happened in New York and Washington. Since I know President Bush very well, I also respect him. I admire. As a human being, wonderful person. So I wrote, 12th September, I wrote a letter to him while I expressed my sort of condolence. Then also I mentioned, hopefully this problem deal with non-violent way. But then, you see, I think because of his advisor's sort of suggestion or something, I think who was confident about the American military force. So Iraq crisis happened. I think that, because of seeding the that I think create some kind of, say, emotional feeling among many Muslims. So then, I think, and then also, you see, recent years, you see, when some of the discussions or talk, and I mentioned the very word Muslim terrorist is wrong word. Muslim is Muslim. Islam is Islam. Religion. Like some cases in Burma, there's some Buddhist monk is harming some Muslim community there. So at that time, Time magazine, one picture, one monk's picture, and mentioned Buddhist terrorist. So we feel uncomfortable. Buddhism is Buddhism. Genuine Buddhist never sort of, because of the indulge these things. So similarly, genuine Muslim Muslim practitioner. Some of my friends say, any Muslim create bloodshed, no longer genuine Muslim. So some individual, you see, carrying some sort of violence, as among the Buddhists also, among the Christians also, among the Jews or among the Hindus, everywhere. So this should not sort of create impression, whole religion is something militant. That's totally wrong. And some time back, one, I think, article appears, clash between Islam and Western democratic civilization. Now, such things, I think, very dangerous. So Islam is one of the important religions. One Muslim, as he told me, genuine Islam practitioner, must extend love towards entire creature of Allah. As I mentioned there, you see, according to theistic religion, all created by God. So, you cannot say any religion which connected with terrorism. So, once individual who belongs this religious group or that religious group, once involved to terrorism, then no longer the genuine follower of the religion. So therefore, several occasions I expressed that. So therefore, I think the new American president sort of also certain policy is in banning, or negative sort of, also thinking to coming some Muslim countries. I think this long run not good. So like that. So I think terrorism develop out of hatred, anger, too much emotion. Emotion become out of control. Then all this is negative action. You see, suicides, these things happen because their emotion become out of control. So the only method, reach out to these people. And firstly, cool down their emotion. Then let them experience our common sense. Then we can talk. In this respect, as far as Muslim brothers and sisters is concerned, I think the Indian Muslims, I think, have some special sort of opportunity. Talk to these people, invite these people, and talk. You know, when Iraq crisis about to happen, some unknown individual wrote me a letter, I should go Baghdad. But then I have no connection, so even I go there, I cannot do much. But this idea is good, so therefore, late President Howard is a very close friend of mine. I admire him very much. So I told him, you should organize some group of people, not representing any government, but individual, well-known, respected individual, some Nobel laureate, some scientist, like him, respected leader, go where crisis is about to happen. I think I felt I cannot do much, but group of people go Baghdad and meet Saddam Hussein and tell him if the circumstances go continuously, war imminent. If war with America happen, certainly he will defeat. So you see, gently, compassionately explain, I feel Iran war can avoid if we start human contact. The government sort of representative, then not much use. The other side will not trust. Without trust, how to sort of reach closely each other, isn't it? Like that.
There are a lot of questions which have come in, but I think we are running short of time. I'll combine two questions which are similar. One is from a teacher. She is asking, many times I come across students who are violent in nature. How do I work with such students in the classroom? And the students are asking, how to control anger and what can we do to remain calm, composed, and happy like you?
When I was young, I'm quite short-tempered. Then gradually learning more and think more deeper way, then you see, nowadays almost you see anger, attachment almost disappear through training. If may I say so, not through prayer, but through training. It's a prayer. Sometimes you see, it seems we put responsibility on God's shoulder. We ourselves should change. Not just pray to God. My case, pray to Buddha, please bring peaceful mind. No, I must create peaceful mind. So I think some extent you also say. So like that. So I did through training. So it's quite natural. You see, young student, you see, short temper and complain like that. And also my own case, when I studied these things, I was very, very lazy student. When time come about my lesson, almost I feel now whole day darkened, sky darkened. The next 1 or 2 days holiday, I feel very happy. I think we also same experiences. So this is quite natural. And then teacher, I think firstly, teacher should develop very close relation with young student. See, in order to develop genuine closeness, so relation, teacher should show genuine sense of concern of their well-being, their whole life. Not only you see teach lesson, but with sense of responsibility to bring sensible human being, educated, sensible human being. Then eventually, students also you see develop love, trust towards teacher. Then you see your suggestions will go in their deep mind. Otherwise, teacher, I think good scholar, but just you see, Kasoda explained a certain sort of point, and without showing human affection, then I think difficult. So therefore, I think firstly, teacher should create atmosphere is something compassionate atmosphere in the classroom. Then gradually, you see, teacher share your own sort of experience, patience, or compassion, forgiveness, these things. So teacher also have a great role in that respect. Thank you. And parent, of course, like that. And student, among yourselves also, you see, you can share each other a certain experience. Then You see, help each other about emotion level. Right. About emotion, like that. Yes, next question.
One question. Was the movie 7 Years in Tibet based on a true event? And she wants to know, when did you last meet Henrik Harriet? And if possible, please speak something about him.
What's that? 7 years. 7 years, the Harihara, I know. He was the person who introduced about Europe, European sort of way of life. Firstly, my elder brother, you see, become very close friend, Harihara, and of course at that time Ashnada and Harihara, two Austrian, but usually we call German. Oh. So, because of this, my elder brother, you see, become very close friend. So eventually, I also used to call him. Then we become very close friend. Then I think 50 or you see, we come to Indian border, Yatung. Then he went to India. Then after 59, when I reached Kasati, Tespo, Harihara also already there. Then eventually we often meet. When he become quite old, but his friendship with Tibet very strong. Whole his life remained as best friend of Tibet. Very nice, very nice. And then Kasati. Then he's sort of writing 7 years in Tibet. I think very true. And then the film, I think basically is based on that because of that book. So true. But on some occasion, as a film, a little bit sort of certain things in order to bring attractions from audience. So maybe some certain things. You see, according to Christianity, we all son of God. God like our Father. And what kind of God? Infinite love. So we are children of that kind of God. So we must be compassionate person. That's very important. Then according to Buddhist view, Buddha stated, you are your own master. All your life, whether happy life or difficult life, entirely depend on yourself. So here you have to I think, emphasis more sensorial level experiences. Important, but not so important. But mental level experiences are more important. For example, mental level, peace, happy, sensorial levels, even some pain can subdue. Mental level, too much worry, cannot subdue by physical comfort. So mental level experience are much more important or much more serious. So training of mind means mental level, like that. So there are also, I think best gift from God is our brain. So this brain use fully, then you can see long-term interest and also see things from wider perspective, then you can see reality. When emotion comes, with emotion, try to see you can't see the whole reality. For example, anger develop. Anger usually needs some kind of target, independent target. So your mind focusing that, you can't see the other sort of consequences. So therefore, you see, we must utilize our intelligence properly and see any event from wider perspective. 3 dimensions, 4 dimensions, 6 dimensions, then you can see the reality. Negative emotion only through 1 dimension. So our intelligence should be utilized. In order to intelligence utilize, calm mind is very important. And then objectively look. Okay, that's all. Thank you.